What if I told you buying a house could be the worst financial decision you'll ever make? Now, before you click away, hear me out. Everyone says buying a house is the ultimate investment, the American dream, the Canadian dream, the path to wealth. But here's what nobody's talking about. The people giving you this advice are either trying to sell you a house or sell you a course. Real estate agents like me make commission, you know, financial influencers sell programs, and you're stuck with a 25-year mortgage, wondering if you made the right choice. So today I'm breaking down exactly who should buy a house and who absolutely shouldn't. No sales pitch, no agenda, just the truth based on real numbers. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly where you stand. So let's dive in. Here's the thing, there's no one size fit all answer to whether you should buy a house. Your situation is unique. But what I can do is walk through a real scenario of someone representing millions of Canadians and show you the exact framework to make the decision yourself. So let's talk about Alex. Alex is in his late 20s, makes about $70,000 a year. He has a decent job with room for growth. He's currently renting one bedroom apartment for $1,500 a month. He's got some student loans, nothing crushing, but they're there. No credit card debt, which is good. And here's the kicker, he has zero down payment saved. Sounds familiar? This is the reality for millions of young professionals. Now, every real estate agent Alex talks to says the same thing. You're throwing money away on rent. Buy now before you're priced out forever. But is that actually true? Let's do the math that nobody wants you to show you. If Alex continues to rent at $1,500 for the next 50 years, assuming that rent never increases, which is unrealistic, he'll pay about $900,000 in rent. So 1,500 times 12 is equals to like $18,000 a year. And then $18,000 times 50 years is about 900,000. So $900,000 gone, no equity, nothing to show for it. That sounds terrible, right? That's the number realtors love to throw around. But here's what that calculation conveniently ignores. Life does not work in a straight line. Alex rent will not stay at 1500, but neither will the income stay at 70,000. In 5 years he might be making 90,000 and living in a two-bedroom apartment because he has a partner and kids. In 10 years he could get a job in another city, and in 15 his priorities might completely change. The point is this, you cannot predict your future and you cannot change your past, but you can use this information available right now to make the best decision for today. So let's ask the real questions, the one that actually matters. Question one, what does Alex's future look like? Does he want like a family, or does he prefer to stay single? Does his job requires flexibility to move to a different location, or is he planning to stay in the city long term? Question number two, what's the financial foundation? Can he handle unexpected repairs? Does he have an emergency fund? What could a mortgage payment look like compared to rent? Question number three, what are his actual goals? Is he buying for stability or for investment returns? And question number four, does he value flexibility over ownership, and is he ready for responsibility of homeownership? Before we get into the solution, let's talk about what homeownership really means, because this is where people get blindsided. When you own your home, you're not just paying a mortgage, you're paying for other things too, like property tax, which could be thousands of dollars a year, home insurance, again, hundreds of dollars, strata fee if you're living in a condo, which could be a couple of $100 a month, maintenance and repairs, something breaks, let's say you have a furnace break, or there's a roof that requires a replacement. These whole things add up. Utilities that you might have to include in rent, and yes, the mortgage interest. In the early years of your mortgage, most of your payment goes towards the interest and not equity. On a $500,000 mortgage at 5% interest, you might pay $22,600 per month, but only a very small amount of that goes towards the principal and rest goes to the interest. But here's the trade-off. You gain stability. No landlord can kick you out. You build equity over time. Even slow equity is better than zero, and you have complete freedom to renovate, paint, and make it yours. You're locking in your house cost instead of facing rent increases every year. So, yes, home ownership costs more than just the mortgage, but for the right person at the right time, it's absolutely worth it. All right, so here's the solution. So if you're like Alex and homeownership makes sense for your future, here's exactly what you need to do, and this should be a roadmap. Step one: eliminate your student loans first. I know this isn't new advice, but it's critical. Your debt to income ratio affects how much you can borrow for a mortgage, plus the interest you're paying on student loan is money that could be going towards a down payment. So create a plan, cut expenses where you can. Maybe that means no vacation for a couple of years or skipping the daily coffee run. Buying a house requires sacrifices, so get comfortable with that reality now. Step two: start investing immediately. And I cannot stress this enough, even while paying off debt. This is where most people get confused. They think I'll invest after I'm debt free. Wrong. You need to do this simultaneously, even if it's just a small amount. Here's the game changer: the first home saving account, which is called as FHSA, you can contribute up to $8,000 a year with a lifetime maximum of 40,000. The beautiful part, the money grows tax free and you can withdraw it for your first home. So let's say you save $500 a month in your FHSA. Oh, it's a bit of a mouthful. And you invest in a low cost index fund with an average of 11% return. In just about 6 years and 7 months, you'll hit the contribution limit, but here's where it gets interesting. If you let the money continue to grow for the next 10 years, the total 40,000 can approximately grow up to 75,000. That's a substantial growth, completely tax free. To put it in perspective, you're contributing $40,000 of your money, but the market is giving you an additional 35,000 just for being patient and staying investment. That's the power of compounding growth that works in your favor. If you max out your FHSA, then start using your RRSP for additional contributions. You'll get a tax refund, which you can then use to pay down on your student loans faster and add it to your down payment. So that's why it's always advised to start early as possible for saving a down payment for a house. Step three: always start small. Buy an apartment or condo first. And here's where people make a massive mistake: they want their dream home right away, and don't do that. Start with one bedroom or a two-bedroom apartment. It's cheaper, easier to maintain, and it will meet your needs for the next 5 to 10 years. As your income grows, your family expands, you can upgrade to a townhouse or a single family home. Think of it as climbing a ladder, not just jumping straight onto the top. Step four: understand the true cost before you buy. Before you make an offer on any property, calculate the monthly mortgage payment, property tax, insurance and strata, average maintenance cost, could be 1% of your home value each year, emergency fund for any unexpected repairs. If the total is more than 35% of your gross monthly income, you're stretching too thin. Be honest with you. So, why does this approach work? Here's why this roadmap is so powerful. You're building wealth strategically and not desperately. Instead of rushing into home ownership unprepared, you're creating a foundation, you've paid off debt, building investment, and entering the housing market when you're actually ready and when not anyone pressures you. You're thinking long term. That FHSA isn't just a down payment fund. It's teaching you the discipline of consistent investing. Those habits will serve you for a life. You're avoiding the biggest trap that is called lifestyle inflation. So, by starting small with an apartment, you'll keep your costs manageable. You're not house poor, stressed, or an emergency away from a financial disaster. And here's the beautiful part: once you own that first property, you have the option. You can sell it and upgrade, you can rent it out and use the equity for your next purchase. You're playing the long game. So, should you buy a house? If someone who values stability, plan to stay in one place, and wants to build equity over time, yes, absolutely. But do it in a smart way, pay off debt first, invest strategically, and start small. In part two, I'll cover the flip side of who should not buy a house, even if they can afford it. Trust me, there are situations where renting is actually the better financial move. And I'll break down exactly where that's the case. If you found this helpful, give it a thumbs up. And if you're in Surrey or Lower Mainland area and need guidance on your home buying journey, reach out and I'll love to help you. Till then, make smart decisions with your money, and I'll see you in the next